Okay, let's get right into it. For a lot of us, caffeine is just what gets our morning started. But what if that daily cup of coffee could be so much more? What if it's one of the most powerful, totally legal, and easiest to get performance tools an athlete can use? Well, today, we're going to break down the science of turning that morning buzz into a real, measurable competitive advantage. And look, this isn't just hype or my opinion. We're talking about decades of scientific research that all points to the same conclusion. Caffeine works. It's been shown again and again to boost endurance, improve sprint performance, and even help with muscular strength. It's a legit, science-backed tool that can give you a real edge. But here's the catch, right? Just drinking coffee whenever you feel like it, that's not a strategy. The tiny difference between hitting a new personal best and having a really disappointing day can actually come down to how you use it. So let's figure out if your current habit is helping you, or maybe even holding you back. To really get this right, first, we've got to understand what's happening inside our brains. It's not just about waking up. There's a very specific biological thing happening, and it's actually surprisingly simple once you see it. Okay, the key mechanism has a fancy name: adenosine receptor antagonism. All that means is this: as you go through your day, your brain produces this molecule called adenosine. The more that builds up, the more tired you feel. Caffeine's superpower is that it gets right in the way of that process. Here's the absolute best way to picture it. Think of that adenosine molecule as the key that fits perfectly into the tiredness lock in your brain. Caffeine is like a decoy key. It looks so similar that it can slide right into that same lock, but it can't turn it. It just sits there, physically blocking the real "I'm tired" key from ever getting in. And here you can see it side by side. On the left, that's your brain without caffeine. Adenosine is binding to its receptors, telling everything to slow down. But on the right, your brain on caffeine, you can see those receptors are plugged up. The fatigue signals are basically being ghosted, which doesn't just keep you alert, it actually helps your muscles fire harder and faster. So now that we know why it works, let's get to the really important part: how to make it work for you. A perfect caffeine strategy really comes down to three things: how much you take, when you take it, and what form you take it in. These are the three pillars. Get one of these wrong, and you might as well not even bother, because you could completely cancel out the benefits. So let's break each one down. First up, dose. This is so important. The research consistently points to a sweet spot of 3 to 6 milligrams of caffeine per kilogram of your body weight. That's the magic range that gives you a reliable boost without pushing you into the land of nasty side effects. So what does that actually look like in the real world? Well, if you're a 75 kilo or 165 pound athlete, we're talking about a dose somewhere between 225 and 450 milligrams. This makes it super practical, right? You can just find your weight on the chart and immediately know your target. Okay, number 2 is timing. And on this one, the science is incredibly clear. You want to take your caffeine about 60 minutes before your event or your main training session. That gives your body just enough time to absorb it so the caffeine levels in your blood hit their absolute peak right when you need to perform. All right, so we've got our dose and our timing nailed down. But what about the source? Can you just down a couple of espressos and call it good? Or is there a smarter way to do it? The answer is, well, it depends. And this brings us to the big debate for athletes: a good old cup of coffee versus a precise caffeine pill or powder. They both have some pretty clear pros and cons, and it really depends on what your goal is. I mean, just look at how unpredictable coffee can be. Depending on the bean, the roast, the brew method, the caffeine can be all over the place. That filter coffee could have 135 milligrams, or it could have 200. That is a massive difference when you're trying to hit a very specific dose for performance. This is exactly why relying on coffee on competition day is like playing caffeine roulette. You might get lucky and land on your number, but you could just as easily overshoot it and get jittery, or even worse, undershoot it and get no benefit at all. So here's the trade-off you have to think about. Isolated caffeine, like a pill, gives you incredible precision. It's reliable, perfect for race day. But whole coffee has other cool compounds in it, things like cofestol and caffeic acid that some research suggests can actually help your muscles recover and restock their fuel after a hard workout. So it's a strategic choice. Do you want precision for performance or those extra benefits for recovery? All right, let's talk about the fine print. Because using caffeine effectively also means using it safely and, understanding how your body gets used to it over time. Okay, this number right here might be the most important one to remember for safety.
Doses above 9 milligrams per kilogram of body weight give you zero additional performance benefits. Zero. All you get is a much, much higher risk of negative side effects. So remember, more is definitely not better.
And these are the kinds of side effects we're talking about. Things like anxiety and restlessness, being unable to sleep, nausea, serious stomach issues, even heart palpitations. Any one of these can completely tank your performance, which is why sticking to that 3 to 6 milligram range is just so important. And then there's tolerance. This is a big one. If you're drinking a lot of caffeine every single day, your brain actually adapts. It creates more of those adenosine receptors to try and catch those fatigue signals. And what that means is your normal dose starts to feel less and less effective, and you could lose that performance edge right when you need it most. So what do you do about that? Well, here's a pretty advanced strategy that serious competitors use. If you reduce or even cut out caffeine for about 4 to 7 days before a big race, you can basically reset your system and make it super sensitive again. It's called a washout period, and it can make your race day dose feel way more powerful. Okay, let's put it all together. This is your playbook. Your dose, 3 to 6 milligrams per kilogram of body weight. Your timing, 60 minutes before you go. Your form, use pills for precision on game day, but think about coffee for its recovery benefits. And the #1 golden rule, test your exact strategy in training first. Never, ever, ever try something new on race day. So there you have it. We've gone through the science, the exact protocol, and the risks. The evidence is crystal clear. When you use it strategically, caffeine is an amazing performance tool. So the question isn't really if it works anymore, it's how are you going to use this knowledge to build your own strategy and unlock your next level of performance?